Submitted for your approval. Video games and Parkinson's disease. Those may sound like strange bedfellows, but what you're going to find out is not everything is as it seems in the Parkinson Zone. Video games and Parkinson's disease. Sounds like a weird combination, right? But let's take a deeper look. As a gamer over 50, I often get teased about gaming, well, over 50 years old. But add into the equation of gaming over 50, you add into that equation Parkinson's disease, and it becomes even more interesting. But don't blow off what I'm saying. Let's take a look and see how video games and Parkinson's disease actually have a positive connection. There was a pilot study done at the University of San Francisco that showed more than half of the participants, 65%, had improvements in their walking speed, their balance, and their stride length after the study, after they played these video games. Now, these were not normal video games that you would buy off the shelf. These were actually video games that were scientifically designed to help people with impairments and with Parkinson's disease. But these were games similar to Wii or Kinect games where you actually got up and you moved along with the games that you played. And they were specifically designed by Red Hill Studios for this. And it showed improvement in 65% of the people that played these video games. There's also a Brazilian research that was done that a specific goalkeeper video game. So you think about soccer and goalkeepers, right? And of course, in Brazil, soccer is a huge deal. But there's a goalkeeper video game that they're using down there to help detect early signs of onset of Parkinson's disease through changes in a person's gait, balance, and their stride length. So they use this video game to actually help determine when early onset of Parkinson's is hitting a person. Kind of interesting, right? There was also a Canadian study that had participants do a couple of things. They played 30 minutes of Wii Fit games, so games like Wii Yoga. Then they played ski slalom, they played ski jump, and then they played a game called Table Tilt, which I've never played, but the other ones I have. They did that for 30 minutes, and then they did 15 minutes of Wii Sports, like Wii Bowling or Wii Golf. And at the end of that time, the Parkinson's disease participants showed a 55% improvement in one-leg balance stance and 45% improvement in their sit-to-stand exercise, where they go from a sitting position to standing and walking a specific amount of distance. So 45% of the people saw an improvement in that. That's fantastic. Now, these games that I just mentioned, both with the Red Hill Studios study, the one at the University of California, San Francisco, and the Canadian study, as well as the Brazilian one, those are video games that incorporate movement like the Wii and the Kinect. And we know with Parkinson's disease that motion is lotion. We have to stay in motion for us to fight the onset, really. And those video games were proven in these studies to help fight the onset of Parkinson's disease. It's not for everybody, I know, but I think that's fantastic. These are games that incorporate motion and led to positive results. There's a published study in the scientific journal Nature that shows when you play video games of any nature or any kind, that dopamine is released in your brain. And that dopamine helps you with visual perception. It helps you switching between tasks or multitasking. And it helps you with information processing. So it helps you in multiple ways. So, I mean, that's a good thing. The only thing is you have to be careful because that release of dopamine also is what leads to addiction to video games. So again, using video games in moderation, an hour or less a day, can have some very positive effects with a person with Parkinson's disease. Well, how do video games help me? Well, I don't play video games like the Wii or Kinect. I just play on the standard console. I play on an Xbox. But the way that video games help me, number one, is emotionally. I really enjoy video games. And if I'm having a rough week and I get in and I play some video games, especially with some friends, but if I play with some video games that I enjoy, that's a stress release and it helps me. It helps me to decompress and relax. I enjoy it. And like I just mentioned previously, there's a release of dopamine to my brain, and that is an enjoyable experience. So video gaming helps me emotionally. But another way that video gaming helps me is socially. The social interaction is fantastic. Like I said before, some of the greatest people I've met in my life have been through video games. And I love getting online and chatting with people that I know, people that I've come to love and respect and have a great interaction with. So sometimes I'll get online and play video games, not for the fun of it necessarily, but to interact with others because frankly, I need that social interaction sometimes. I need to be online with some friends and to have some fun with them. So socially is another way that video games help me. Now, is playing video games with Parkinson's a challenge? Absolutely. Okay. One of the things you have to consider is with Parkinson's disease, oftentimes a symptom is having a tremor. And my tremor is in my left hand. So if I'm holding a controller, I have the risk that my left finger, when I'm holding the controller, because of my tremor, will actually bump the trigger or bump the bumper and make my character, make my person do something I don't intend it to do because I can't control the tremor. Now, Parkinson's disease tremors are what we call resting tremors. So when you hold something like a gaming controller, your hand tends to tremor a little less, but it doesn't completely go away, which can lead to some challenges. Now, the games that I like to play online are Rocket League, I play Overwatch, and then video games like Battlefield 1, one of my all-time favorite games, right? But out of all of those, the game that I really gravitate towards is Rocket League, which is basically soccer with cars. I mean, who wouldn't want to play that, right? But with Rocket League, one of the nice things about it is the controls are very simple. There's not a lot of things that you manipulate with your hands with the controllers to play Rocket League effectively. And with those controls, the controls are very right-hand dominant. I don't always need my left hand much to play Rocket League effectively. So what that does for me is it means I can hold the controller in a specific way to keep my left finger away from the bumper and away from the trigger so that I don't accidentally do something I don't mean to do if my hand is tremoring more than normal. Rocket League really strokes my competitive juices. I love it. It's a lot of fun. And the matches are short, so you have a lot of activity, boom, 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 game after game after game. And it is a lot of fun. But it really does stoke those competitive juices that I get. I also enjoy Overwatch because Overwatch, again, I enjoy that because of the social interaction. I have a lot of fun playing Overwatch with some old friends of mine. And when we play, a lot of times it's catch-up time. How was your week? Oh, hey, whatever happened to your this and that with your daughter? How's your dog doing? Those are conversations that we have when we play Overwatch. And I really do enjoy Overwatch. As we play competitions through Overwatch, it is competitive, and I have fun with that. But it's also that social interaction. It's time with friends, doing catching up and reminiscing, and that's a lot of fun too. So I love Rocket League, and I do love Overwatch. Those are a couple of very fun games. And then I like Battlefield 1. I like the precision involved. When I play Battlefield 1, I'm usually sniping. I'm a sniper guy. So I'll get down and see the targets through my scope and try and pick them off from a long way away. Because let me tell you something, it's a lot of fun when you're picking off the enemy and they get frustrated when you're so far away. It's fun to be frustrating to the other team. Got to tell you. And again, coming back to that competitive part, it's good times, man. So these games are a lot of fun. They lead to some social interaction that I really need, and they stoke my competitive juices. Now, are video games for everyone? No. In fact, some people's Parkinson's disease symptoms, frankly, might be too severe to enjoy video games. And frankly, there's some times even now when I try and join some friends online to play and have some fun, but frankly, my tremor is a little too severe that night. I have what's called off time, and the medication isn't helping my symptoms, and my tremor's too bad, and I have to graciously bow out of playing and say, you know what, guys, tonight, it's not for me. I can't do it tonight. That happens. And there might be a time that comes when I simply can't play video games anymore, and that's okay. But you know what? That time isn't now, and I'm going to enjoy it while I can. Anyways, just some things to think about. Parkinson's and video games, things to consider. You have some questions or comments? Leave them below. Let's talk. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.